The warning that changed everything. The morning sun cast long shadows across the polished floors of Meridian Corporate Center. Marcus Thompson pushed his cleaning cart down the hallway, the familiar squeak of the wheels keeping rhythm with his steady steps. At 42, he had been working as a janitor here for nearly 8 years, ever since his wife Sarah passed away from cancer. Leaving him to raise their 10-year-old daughter Emma alone, Marcus knew every corner of this building. He knew which executives liked their offices cleaned early, which ones stayed late into the night, and which ones barely acknowledged his presence. He had become invisible in the way that service workers often do, essential but unseen, trusted, but overlooked. The morning routine never changed. Marcus would arrive at 5:30, brew the first pot of coffee in the executive break room, and begin his methodical journey through each floor. He took pride in his work even when others didn't notice. Every surface gleamed, every trash can was emptied, every window sparkled. Today felt different somehow. Maybe it was the storm clouds gathering outside, or the unusual tension he had noticed among the security guards during his morning check-in. Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. At 9:15, as Marcus was cleaning the lobby restrooms, he heard raised voices echoing from the main entrance. Through the small window in the restroom door, he could see a crowd of people gathering outside the building. Some held cameras. Others carried notepads. The press had arrived, though Marcus couldn't imagine why. He finished his work and stepped into the lobby. Just as the elevator doors opened, Victoria Sterling, the company's chief executive officer, emerged wearing her signature black business suit. At 38, she had built Meridian from a startup into a Fortune 500 company. Through sheer determination and brilliant strategic thinking, Victoria rarely spoke to Marcus beyond a polite nod, but he had always respected her work ethic. She was often the first to arrive and the last to leave. And unlike some executives, she never treated the cleaning staff poorly. Today, however, something was clearly wrong. Victoria's usual composed demeanor was cracked. Her hands shook slightly as she checked her phone, and her face was pale. She walked quickly toward the main entrance, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor. Marcus watched as she approached the revolving doors. Outside, the crowd of reporters had grown larger. Camera flashes were already going off, and he could see microphones being thrust forward, waiting for her appearance. That's when Marcus noticed the car. A black sedan was parked directly in front of the building, its engine running. The driver wore dark sunglasses despite the cloudy morning, and he kept checking his mirrors nervously. Something about the scene triggered every protective instinct Marcus had developed during his years of quiet observation. The car was positioned wrong. Too close to the entrance. Too ready for a quick escape. Victoria was 3 steps from the door. When Marcus made his decision, "Don't get in the car," his voice boomed across the lobby, startling everyone within earshot. Security guards turned. Office workers stopped their conversations. Victoria froze mid-step. "Ma'am," Marcus said, his voice calmer but still urgent as he approached her. "That car out front, something's not right about it." Victoria turned to face him, confusion and surprise flickering across her features. "Marcus? What are you talking about?" "I've been watching that driver for 10 minutes, Marcus explained, pointing toward the sedan. "He's been checking his mirrors. Every few seconds, engine running, ready to bolt. And look at the license plate." Victoria squinted through the glass doors. The license plate was partially obscured by mud, but what was visible didn't match the format of local plates. "The reporter showed up right after that car arrived," Marcus continued. "And your usual driver, James, he always gets out to open your door. This guy hasn't moved." One of the security guards, Tom Rodriguez, had been listening to the conversation. He pulled out his radio and spoke quietly into it. Within seconds, 2 more guards appeared. "Mrs. Sterling," Tom said, "Marcus might be onto something. James called in sick this morning, and we were told a replacement driver would be here. But we never got confirmation from your office." Victoria's face went white. She pulled out her phone and dialed quickly. "James, I thought you were sick." "What? You never called in sick? Then who ... She looked up at Marcus with dawning realization. Tom was already coordinating with his team. Through the glass doors, They could see the black sedan's driver becoming increasingly agitated as police cars approached from both directions. The next 20 minutes unfolded like a scene from a thriller movie. The driver attempted to flee, but was quickly surrounded. Inside the car, authorities found zip ties, a taser, and detailed plans about Victoria's daily routine. The man was part of a group planning to kidnap her for ransom, having studied her movements for weeks. As the chaos outside settled and statements were given to police, Victoria found herself standing in the quiet lobby with Marcus. The reporters were gone, drawn away by the bigger story that had just unfolded. The building felt strangely peaceful after all the commotion. "Marcus," Victoria said softly, "I don't know how to thank you. If you hadn't spoken up. Marcus shifted uncomfortably, not used to being the center of attention. "I just noticed something that didn't feel right, ma'am." "Anyone would have done the same." "No," Victoria shook her head. "Not everyone pays attention the way you do. Not everyone cares enough to speak up when something seems wrong." She paused, studying the man who had worked in her building for 8 years, who had probably saved her life, and whom she realized she knew almost nothing about. "Would you have coffee with me?" she asked. "I mean, real coffee, not the office stuff. There's a cafe down the street." Over the next hour, sitting in the small cafe, Victoria learned about Marcus's daughter Emma, about his late wife, about how he had chosen this job because the steady hours allowed him to be home when Emma got out of school. She learned that he was taking night classes in business administration, hoping to someday move into an office role. Marcus learned that Victoria had started her company after losing her own job, that she understood struggle and sacrifice, and that she had never forgotten where she came from. The following Monday, Marcus arrived at work to find a letter on his cleaning cart. Inside was an offer for a position in the security department, with better pay, regular hours, and benefits that would cover Emma's college fund. But more than that, he had gained something he hadn't expected, the recognition that his watchful care and genuine concern mattered more than titles or corner offices. As Marcus hung up his janitor's uniform for the last time, he smiled. Sometimes the most important moments in life come not from grand gestures, but from simply paying attention and caring enough to speak up when something isn't right. Emma would be proud.